So guys, do I even have to say I'm going to keep it real in this video? Because we all know in every video I do, I keep it real. So let's just get straight into this topic. I'm going to explain why women, and this is no disrespect towards women or anybody, but it's just the truth. And it is what it is. I don't care. I'm just going to expose the truth for what it is. So basically, I'm going to explain why women monkey branch. And from my own knowledge, experience, and everything that I've seen, everything that I've witnessed, even on the outside when it came to other people, I noticed that it's usually the women that monkey branch are the ones that grew up fatherless, or they had a very shitty upbringing with a very shitty father figure that was never there, that did not play his role in her life for whatever reason. The ones you gotta watch out for are the extremely good looking females that grew up without fathers, because those are the ones that is gonna destroy your life before you even know it. I mean, they're dangerous. Let's just be real. They're very dangerous. The reason why they do this too is because they were not taught properly the right way how to actually treat a man, because they never had a man in their life that treated them right. So they can't treat another man right because their own father didn't treat them right. What's going to make them think otherwise? What's going to make them think if they treat the next guy good that's not even their own father, that they're going to get what they deserve? A lot of these types of females, not all of them, but most of these types of females that went through something like this are a little bit paranoid or a little bit sketchy. And that's why they monkey branch. They'll come in when they know they're safe, but when there's any sort of a threat to them, and they don't feel 100% safe to the point where they have to be vulnerable now and be real, they monkey branch onto the next guy, and they never ever change. Instead of changing themselves, instead of getting healthy themselves, what they do is they take the easy way out, and they take it out on everybody else. They monkey branch from guy to guy to guy to guy to guy. I mean, just look at their past history. They cannot keep a guy. They cannot keep a man, because they're continuously doing this so they don't have to be vulnerable and face the fact that they have to treat a man right to actually keep him. So what do? When it gets really real, they dip. They're on to the next. They're on to the next. They're on to the next, from tree branch to tree branch. And it's an ongoing cycle. This is how it goes. It's a crazy thing to think about, I know. We were not told this growing up. Who in the hell is told stuff like this growing up? Barely anybody. Little to nobody. It's something pretty much us guys have to go through, if we do go through it, because not everybody does, but some people do. It's something you have to go through and then learn as you go. So you might have a horrible experience, or 2 or 3 or 4, and you have to learn from these and then start to catch on to what's actually happening here. And going through the experiences, it's nothing pleasant. It's like they're keeping skeletons in their closet type thing, that they're snatching souls here and keeping skeletons in their closet because they might need to go back to somebody yet again. And this is just what they do. And it's unfortunate that they have to do this, but that's what they have to do. I mean, I'm not even hating on them in this video. I'm seriously not. It's just what they do. Because I don't want to make this hating women type of channel, because that's not what it is. Even any other videos that I've done on things that females do, not all, just some, that it's looked upon in this type of way. It's not to bash anybody. It's not to do any of that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just the truth. I mean, we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, they're so trash and all this. Honestly, I've been through the ringer. I no longer care. I don't care. I'm just saying it how it is. Hopefully they can see these videos and learn from it. See where they're going wrong, because a lot of these girls are up, their heads are in the clouds. They don't even know what they're doing half the time. They don't even know why they do the things they do. They're just doing it because it's what they feel they need to do to live a good life and to survive. They're survival mechanism type of people. It's what they do. We can't blame them. That's why we got to focus on ourselves. If something ideal comes along, something ideal comes along. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we have to be the warriors that we are. We have to be the men that we are, and we cannot depend on women or anybody like that to make our lives better, because at the end of the day, the right woman in our lives will make our lives better, but we can't depend on it. We have to depend more on ourselves than anything else. Full focus on yourself. That way you're not going to get disappointed. You're not going to get let down. That's what I learned. Because of course, growing up, and you start to get into the age of about 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, you're going to start to have these thoughts of, okay, like, it's getting to the point where I should be having the right woman in my life about at this point, but, and you start to want it more at that age, something I've learned, because you don't want the right one to pass, because you want to get the right one at that age so somebody else doesn't get her, because you want her too. Like, you don't want to miss out on the one. That's what I'm trying to say here. So that's why you have the thoughts that you have. That's why a lot of like guys that are 19, 20, 21, especially at those ages, are so hard up for the girl. And I was like that too. I wasn't necessarily hard up, but I was keen on getting the right one. I wanted it. Not because I'm desperate. Just because, like I said, you don't want to miss out on the one that you could have had. All smart guys will think like this. Guys like, the guys that think like this, I cannot blame them whatsoever. They're the smarter guys. The guys that are playing more games and stuff like this, they're actually not as smart. The guys that want a good girl, like, as soon as possible, are honestly the smartest guys. And I was like that too. But I learned that you can only control what you can control. You can't control the thoughts of anybody else besides yourself. And at the end of the day, yeah, like, you can only control your thoughts. You can't control somebody else. So just do your best. Keep pushing forward, and things are going to happen whenever they're going to happen. Unfortunate things happen, and that's okay. That's life. But we all have to keep living our own lives and keep pushing forward, keep doing the right things, and things are going to happen. Things are going to plan out the way they're going to. So, and whenever something fails with, let's say, one girl, another one comes right around the corner. And it's always like that. It's like that all the time. It's like that all the time with me. There's always something else. There's always something else. There's always something else. And one of these times, it might be the ideal situation for yourself, and then you capitalize on that situation. And your life is better, her life is better, and there you go. But back to this for a second. So honestly, guys, like, we can't sit around and blame anybody for anything that they do. Like, yeah, it sucks when you're younger and you might get stirred up a little bit by something that happened, an unfortunate situation, but what can you do, right? Like, even over the past year, the past 2, 3, 4 years that just went by, I don't have anything against anybody. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I believe every situation also makes you stronger. I don't sit around thinking, oh, this person is so whatever. It does not matter. It honestly does not matter. It's how you handle the situations is what really matters. You can't hold grudges. You can't do those things. You just got to keep pushing it forward. And good things happen whenever you continue to be a good person and you don't let these things turn you into a bad person or a negative person and start to do things that is at an order of who you really are. And that is facts. You keep being yourself. You keep doing yourself. Stay a nice, humble person. Keep working hard. Be confident. I'll be the first to admit I'm still a humble person and down to earth and stuff, but I can be an over the top, confident, cocky person at times. It just depends on certain things that I'm doing in life, but I do have that type of confidence where it comes off as cocky, even though I don't think I'm being cocky. Some other people might label it as that. I'm just overconfident sometimes in certain situations, depending on what it is. It could be a sport, it could be something like this, but I do have supreme confidence in life and with a lot of things. And something else too is you don't want to let anybody else make you lose confidence. Like, another person should not be able to make you lose confidence within yourself. So let's say if you've been in a relationship with somebody else or a friendship or something like this, and they did you dirty and they made you feel less confident just because of the way things went. That shouldn't even exist. It doesn't exist. It's just thoughts in your own mind. Being unwanted by somebody else can make you feel less confident. I've felt this before, but I learned from it. It was actually, you actually put yourself in that position yourself. They actually have no power over you unless you give that to them. And that is the truth. You gave them a part of yourself that you don't even realize. But you did. You did give them a part of yourself that you should have never gave them. And that is why you can lose confidence. That is why things can happen. But if you don't give them that piece, you have all the pieces within yourself to be confident, to be who you really are, no matter what anybody else has to say. And that is what you have to understand for the rest of your life moving forward, that you are you. What somebody else has to say about you or what somebody else does to you should not faze you, should not make you lose confidence. Because most of the people that do things like this are unconfident themselves. People that are trying to hurt or affect other people's lives in a negative way, they have no confidence within themselves. And I know a lot of people that like to say all these smart little things, right? It makes me laugh, and I'm just looking at them like, okay, gotcha. Because I know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what their thoughts are whenever they're saying these things. They're trying to hype themselves up because they feel inferior to me. But I'm not doing anything to them personally. I ain't doing anything to them. I'm just being myself. And myself just so happens to be more superior than what they are in their minds. And this is why they do the things they do. They'll try to say certain things to you to try to bring you down. Because if they can insult you in any way with these smart little remarks, they feel a little bit of power over you to the point that they can even say these things to you. But if you were ever to overreact or put it to them, now it's a joke. Like I mentioned in other videos, it's all manipulation. It's all mind games. So you can really only let somebody defeat you if you let them yourself. It's up to you. Don't let anybody defeat you. Keep the confidence within yourself. Be a good person. And before I end this video, I just want to say, back to the title of this topic, when things like this happen, when you feel used, when you feel like you were just a stepping stone for a person, it is not what you think. It is not because you are not good enough. It's not because this person is monkey branching you to somebody better. It's not that at all. And people that do this are going to get a hard kick in the face and a hard slap in the face of what reality really is when they're doing these things. At the end of the day, guys, bad behavior does not get rewarded. It never does. They could have the hardest fall of their life in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now. The hardest. They might live the rest of their life in such a miserable way, and there's no getting out of it for them. This is the reality of what can happen to these people. Because they did it all wrong. Because they thought they were doing the right things, but they really were not at all. So just remember that. We're not here to put them down. I'm not here to put them down. It is what it is. This is reality. And they're going to get a big slap in the face of what reality really is, like I said. They're really going to get it. They can beat around the bush all they want. They can be sneaky all they want. The truth will come out, and the truth will show itself. So, that is that. I don't even blame them for what they do. They're just doing what they do, and they don't realize the effects of what they're doing. They just think they're entitled to do whatever they want, which you can, but there are consequences if you are stepping on people's heads along the way. Because your head is going to get stepped on if you're doing that dumb shit. And that's it. So that is the psychology behind the whole monkey branching thing. This is what it is. This is why people do it. Like, there's some people that don't even have daddy issues that do this as well because they think they're doing the right things. But it's a lot of the girls that do have daddy issues because, like I said, they never had that father figure, right? So they feel threatened by other guys. They feel if they get vulnerable, they can get walked on just as well. So what do? They go around affecting other guys' lives. They go around, and as soon as it's going to get real, they just go on to the next without changing themselves. If they don't change themselves, they just go on to the next person that has no idea what they are doing. And they're constantly going to go after a guy that has no idea what they are doing. They build such a bad reputation for themselves as well. So, but that's the ending for this video, guys. I do have another one, so I'm going to cut this one off, and I will be back.